We are back in Tuscany. It's been about 6 weeks since we filmed our last video, and it's a 4-day public holiday in Switzerland, so we decided to take advantage of the time off and make the 8-hour drive down here. And the reason we're down here is we have a couple of important things to do with the house. We have a decision to make, which we will cover later on in this video. It's an exciting decision. And we also, of course, wanted to just check on progress, meet with our architect, discuss a couple of other things that need to be decided on as we progress with the renovation. Normally when we drive down here, we stay in what's called agriturismo, which is a working farm that's also being used as an accommodation business, usually in the countryside with beautiful Tuscan idyllic views of hills and the rolling countryside. But this time we're doing something a little different and staying in the wonderful medieval city of Siena. We are just about to check into our Airbnb, which has, it looked like from the pictures, a really amazing view. So we're not only going to check on progress in the house, but we're also going to do a few touristy things in the city of Siena that have evaded us so far. We've been to the city many times already. It's about 30 minutes from our house, and so it's a really nice amenity to be so close to such a cool and important city. And so we'll check some things out, covered on video, and like I said, make a couple of important decisions with the house. And so yeah, let's get checked in. Stretched across the top of a large Tuscan hill and located about 50 kilometers south of its historical rival Florence, Siena is both a nearly perfectly preserved medieval time capsule as well as a thriving real city with approximately 50,000 residents. Any trip to Siena begins with the stunning Piazza del Campo, Siena's main public square. It is generally regarded as one of Europe's best medieval squares, and it seems almost beyond comprehension that this space hosts the world-famous horse race, the Palio di Siena, twice per year. It's also easy to see the city's color palette as the basis for the Crayola crayon, Burnt Sienna. While there is a ton to do in Siena, there are two must-dos if you have limited time here. The first is the Palazzo Pubblico. The Palazzo Pubblico contains both the Civic Museum and the entrance to the 87-meter-tall bell tower called the Torre del Mangia. Palazzo Pubblico is still used for its original function, which is the municipal offices of Siena. The Civic Museum offers a number of important works of art, generally centered around a social and civic-based theme of the benefits of good government, which offers an interesting contrast to the general religious-based works of art you will see in the Duomo, and indeed generally in Italy. The Torre del Mangia, which was completed in 1348, is the third tallest ancient tower in all of Italy. The climb to the top contains over 400 steps, but with a number of lookout points along the way to break things up. Once you get to the top and the burning in your legs starts to subside, you are rewarded with unobstructed views of the Tuscan hills stretching out in every direction. Now it's time for a bit of an insider tip. In the eastern corner of the piazza, there is a panini shop that serves sandwiches, beer, and wine. And while the sandwiches look tasty and are highly rated on Google, what makes this place really stand out is that with any purchase, you are granted access to their balcony with seating that gives you a perfect bird's eye view of the Piazza del Campo. That is assuming you're able to navigate what must be the tightest spiral staircase in the world. The next day, it was time to get down to business, as we had a meeting with our architect to make our much-anticipated decision on the flooring for the upstairs of our farmhouse. We met our architect at an amazing wood milling factory that specializes in wood flooring. What a privilege it was to be able to watch true craftsmen at work, and I probably could have stayed here for hours, hypnotized by the sights, sounds, and smells of wood being cut and planed. Though we will be keeping the terracotta tiles on the ground floor, we knew we wanted some kind of hardwood for the upstairs, which also worked out for the best as new wood floors provided a perfect way to raise the floor, allowing the running of water and refrigerant lines to serve the new heat pump system. First, we saw a distressed wood made from old scaffolding. We generally are huge fans of the distressed wood look, but we wondered whether this might be pushing it a bit too far. There were plenty of other options, but as always seems to be the case, we were ultimately brought to what I could only describe as the expensive back room, where we were shown a beautiful rustic oak wood floor made from reclaimed farmhouse wood beams. We did ultimately make our decision, but I would love to hear what you would have gone with. Let us know in the comments. The next stop was another project our architect is working on in order to show us what the separation walls for our upstairs ensuite bathrooms will look like once they are clad with rustic travertine stone. And finally, it was on to our house to see the progress since my last visit about 6 weeks before. And to sum up the changes since last time, I would say more pipes and cables. Lots more pipes and cables.
And of course, this makes sense. The installation of our new energy-efficient heat pump-based heating, air conditioning, and hot water system, as well as the moving of the bathrooms and installation of 3 new bathrooms, are the most significant parts of the renovation. So it's no surprise that this takes time. What is perhaps a bit surprising is that our house is starting to bear an uncanny resemblance to a spaceship corridor. The last significant update is that our outdoor storage room, which looked too extreme even for the TV show Hoarders Buried Alive, has been cleared out with Nevio's help and is now ready to be subdivided to create the outdoor bathroom. I mentioned at the beginning of the video that there are 2 must-sees in Siena. The second is the Duomo. Now, living in Europe, I have had the privilege of visiting many impressive cathedrals, but Siena's Duomo, completed in 1264, is likely the most beautiful one I have ever seen. The last visit we made was to the Opera della Metropolitana, an art museum that is part of the Greater Duomo complex. It contains a number of important works of art, as well as Gothic sculptures. But of perhaps most interest, at least to us, was the panoramic observation point above the unfinished cathedral project that was abandoned in the 14th century. You can still climb the 131 narrow spiral stairs to the observation point for another breathtaking view rivaling that of the Torre del Mangia. And just like that, our 4-day visit to Tuscany was drawing to a close. One last passeggiata through the winding medieval streets, and punctuated with a delicious Tuscan dinner at a wonderful traditional Sienese restaurant. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.